of the great urban-rural divide when I stand up to speak on a bill like this, and while acknowledging from the outset that it's a technical bill. But much of the debate has been very much focused on Dublin City Centre for obvious reasons, because of much of the changes that are impacted, and talking about new modes of transport. But there is a life outside of Dublin, and we're sore enough after the weekend without having to have it all monopolised in here as well about Dublin. So if you will allow me, here, to broaden the debate somewhat and to bring in more of a rural aspect to it. One of the bodies, I suppose, referred to in this bill is the National Transport Authority. And, Minister, I want to raise here on the floor that all something that I've been raising with you. I think I've a small forest at this stage destroyed in my correspondence between yourself and Anne Graham, the National Transport Authority, on an issue that I'm getting absolutely nowhere with, just being sent around the House. But the issue is as relevant today as it was the very first time I spoke with you about it, and with Ms Graham. And that is essentially there has been a very sharp decline in the number of Hackney drivers registered. I think I got that information from you under a PQ recently. And we have a particular issue in West Cork, and I'm quite sure it's reflected in many other areas, and that is with the area test. Cork is a huge county, it's a massive county, and Hackney operators in my area tell me that they cannot employ new Hackney drivers because they're going up to the city to do these area-based tests, and they're not able to pass it because, I mean, a Hackney in West Cork, and I appreciate you have a good sense of the geography of West Cork, Minister, because you're familiar with it, in the Clonakilty or Rosscarbery or even Bandon, the Manway area, but being asked about, side streets in Carrigaline and Youghal, they're a complete world away. And despite my best entreaties to yourself and to Ms Graham, I continue to get the same answer back, that this is how things are done and this is how it's going to be. But it's a source of huge frustration, and it's just something I'd like to put on the record on this bill. I appreciate we're talking about a technical bill, but it's an issue that I just wanted to bring under, because we don't have the luxury down in West Cork of having public transport. And we can't, like the previous speaker there, Deputy Farrell, I can't talk about in terms of my constituents and contribute to a bill like this in terms of how my constituents would love an increased DART service, or the other Deputy Daly in the House, my cousin, was referring there previously to poor bus services on the north side, and that they weren't as good as they were on some other, on the south side and so on. In a lot of the areas I represent, we have no bus services, no public bus services, and people don't have them in Dove. So that's a luxury we can't afford. So that's the reason I'm bringing this up here under this bill, and I would ask, Minister, that it's something that I would beg, please, that would be looked at one more time, because where in the absence of public transport, we actually rely on Hackney drivers to take us to and from. And the people I represent feel very hard done by because of that area knowledge test that the NTA are continuing to refuse to make any progress with me on it. And I have got, as I say, a small forest of paper sent back to me on the issue. And I have got some of the individual Hackney drivers down in West Cork to write their own personal experiences directly to the NTA and send them back in. But again, Ms Graham keeps coming back to me that nothing can be done. So I would appreciate, and I thank you for the leniency here, look at this, the latitude in this bill, because it's, as far as I'm concerned, it's related. It's a public transport bill, and that's how we view public transport down in West Cork, where we don't have the luxury of that. So, Carmargot.
Okay, there was 5 minutes left in that slot. Do you want to speak now, Deputy Phelan? That's agreed.